I mean, it could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford wanna challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great. So what I'm saying, I'm with it. So I'll be going for Bud.
I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. Like everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish.
Do you not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame?
Right now? No, how?
Yeah, he's right, dude. He's right.
How? He fought in one division.
Never unified the belts.
He unified.
He did unify. IBF.
After staying quiet for a long time about Terence Crawford, Errol Spence has finally asked for a rematch between them. This comes after Crawford recently called him a below-average fighter. Even though it seems a bit late to go for a rematch with Crawford, Spence decided to take his chance and call out the two-time undisputed champion following several disrespectful moments from Crawford.
I would never want to fight him coming off an accident like that. Because when I beat him, then y'all gonna say it was because of the accident.
Right.
He fights. He beat Danny Garcia. I was in the crowd. I said, nah, he can't beat me. That's the first time I seen Spence fight live. I said.
So you knew then when you seen that?
I'm like yeah, because it's different on TV than when you watching it up close in person.
He did unify. IBF.
He unified.
IBF, was it?
He had three. He had the WBC,
but he didn't unify all
WBA,
four. He wasn't
IBF.
undisputed.
Huh?
He wasn't undisputed.
He wasn't. No, but what I'm saying is, they already called him a weight bully, right? He beat Kell Brook coming off of an eye injury. He beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
Their first fight did not end well for Spence, and it is definitely one reason his value as a boxer dropped significantly after an embarrassing performance that people will never forget. Sadly for Spence, many in the boxing world now define him by that fight against Terence Crawford. He made his call for a rematch on social media while responding to a video clip where Terence Crawford was being interviewed and asked whether Errol Spence deserved to be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Along my career, I've been criticized and people have taken credit away from me just to try to diminish my accomplishments just off of pure hate. So what would they be able to say with me going up 2 weight classes?
People say, oh, well, maybe it was the weight or whatever the case is. What do you think about that? Like talking about the weight at 154?
Well, I wasn't worried about that. I felt stronger than him. I felt that I punched harder than him. I felt as if I hurt him many of times.
Of course, this must have bothered Errol Spence, whose last time in boxing was when he was promoting one of the fights for a fighter signed to his own promotion in a match for the World Boxing Association lightweight title. Errol Spence Jr. has not returned to the ring since his loss to Terence Crawford in 2023. Spence and Crawford were thought to be very evenly matched. But Crawford took complete control of the fight and gave Spence his first loss as a professional. Spence now has a record of 28 wins, 1 loss, and 22 knockouts.
Hold his head up, it's a learning experience. You just bounce back from it. It's about how you come back and how you show people that, it happened young in your career. And some of you
said, that's a good win. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him or,
I understand
things like that, but I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with.
Errol Spence has now shared on social media that the worst thing he ever did as an athlete was drinking. His post also got a reaction from Gervonta Davis, who fights Lamont Roach tonight. Spence wrote, "The worst thing I did to myself was drinking. If you are an athlete, focus on the end goal. Hopefully it is a better situation for you and your family." Apart from his loss to Crawford, Spence has had a great career. But his last performance made the number of his critics grow. Some fans have said that Spence does not have what it takes anymore. This recently led Spence to respond on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. He said, "Some of you all use the word washed too loosely. Go look at your own mother so you can see what washed really means. A lot of people say, oh well, he is money hungry.
But I just felt like, he came prepared and he was ready and he fought a good fight.
Yeah.
He was awkward. He was patient. He was determined. He stuck to his game plan, and he did what he had to do to.
He continued saying people claim he is only focused on money and trying to cash out. But he said, I have been making money for years. I have been earning millions for years. And I am not careless with my money. As you can see, I do not buy Ferraris or Lamborghinis, and I do not walk around with 100 people surrounding me. And yes, I do own all this jewelry, but I paid for it myself.
A lot of people say, oh, well, he's money hungry, he's looking at money and he's trying to cash out and this and that. I've been getting money for years. I've been getting millions for years.
Yeah.
And I'm not stupid with my money.
Right.
As you can see, I don't buy no Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and walk around with 100 people around me and I got all this jewelry that.
Before his loss to Terence Crawford, Spence was the unified welterweight champion holding the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles at that time. He remained the unified champion from 2017 to 2023. Even though he has not fought in nearly 2 years, Spence is still 34 years old and fans can expect a big-name opponent when he returns. .2 weight undisputed champion Terence Crawford seems to have landed in some controversy after his recent comments about his former opponent Errol Spence Jr. The two fought each other back in 2023 and Bud Crawford delivered a very one-sided beating. Since then, Spence Jr. has not made a return to the ring. The former unified welterweight champion had the option to use a rematch clause against Crawford, but chose not to go that route.
He got caught. He should have boxed a little bit more, but things happen. You gotta learn from it.
Definitely, it was exciting. The whole build up to it and leading up to it too. So it's something that I wouldn't change for nothing, and I'm definitely open to the rematch, and hopefully it'll be at 100.
He said he is definitely open to the rematch and hopes it will be at 154 pounds. More recently, he was in talks for a fight against WBC and WBO super welterweight champion Sebastian Fundora, but that never happened after several delays. This made many people believe Spence was never coming back to the ring. Crawford, on the other hand, reached new heights. The fighter from Nebraska is now set to face Canelo Alvarez in September later this year. Before that big fight against Canelo, he appeared in an interview on 4 Pound Pound with Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo, where he said Spence Jr. does not deserve a place in the Boxing Hall of Fame.
He has crazy power that he believes in, he has a great chin too because he's a guy,
Crawford said during the podcast, I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He could not. He added that everything he has achieved, Spence is still trying to achieve. Later, explaining his point further, Crawford said Spence only fought in one division. He unified 3 belts and people already called him a weight bully. He beat Kell Brook, who was coming off a loss and an eye injury. Crawford did give Spence credit for winning against Sean Porter, but said that was not enough. He said that is a good win, and he did not want to sound like he was hating on Spence. He honestly did not know if Spence would make it to the Hall of Fame with the accomplishments he has right now. While Crawford's point has some truth, fans and experts have disagreed with him. That includes boxing trainer Kevin Cunningham, who responded to Crawford's comments by writing, in my opinion, Errol Spence Jr. has done enough to eventually get into the Hall of Fame. He was an Olympian, held 3 world titles at welterweight, and was ranked top 4 pound for pound. The same opinion was shared by Erickson Lubin. While Terence Crawford has grown more popular after his win over Spence, he also has one of the most impressive records in the sport, with titles in 4 weight classes and undisputed status in 2 different weight classes. Throughout his career, many have doubted his ability to beat his opponents, but Crawford has always proved them wrong. However, Erickson Lubin is not convinced Crawford has really achieved much. He wrote, with no disrespect, but I do not think Crawford really fought anyone either, after hearing Crawford's comments about Spence Hall of Fame chances. He added that moving up weight classes and stopping opponents should still be credited to him, though. That said, Terence Crawford now finds himself at the center of controversy.
I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he's going to win or lose, but I definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off. He's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that, and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So I mean, if he can do it, he started at, what, 140.
Terence Crawford delivered a shocking beating to Errol Spence in their long-awaited unification fight on Saturday night. He became the first undisputed welterweight champion in nearly 40 years, while also making a strong case for being the best boxer in the world no matter the weight class. Crawford knocked down Spence in the second round and twice more in the seventh before referee Harvey Dock stopped the fight at 2 minutes and 32 seconds of round 9. No one in the sold-out crowd of 19,990 at the T-Mobile Arena would have complained if he had stopped it earlier. The matchup between two undefeated American stars, which took more than 5 years to make, was promoted as the best fight boxing could offer. But after an opening round that was fairly even, the fight quickly turned into nothing more than a showcase for Crawford's rare talent. The 35-year-old from Nebraska wrote his name into history with an incredible display of power, precision, and ring control that made a top-level opponent look like a beginner. Crawford, who had previously been a champion at 135 and 140 pounds and entered Saturday's highly awaited fight as a slight favorite, became the first fighter to hold every recognized world title at welterweight since 1986. That was when Lloyd Honeyghan stopped Donald Curry at Caesars Atlantic City to win the WBA, WBC, and IBF belts in one of the biggest upsets in British boxing history. This victory came at the expense of Spence, a 2012 U.S. Olympian from the Dallas suburb of DeSoto. Spence's steady forward-moving style, which relied on building pressure behind a methodical southpaw jab, was no match for Crawford's dynamic ability to switch stances and his perfectly timed counter-punching.
We're gonna have a fish fry come Saturday. Man, you gotta calm down, brother. Cause listen, man, things can get real sticky real quick, and then everybody would say, this is what we do every time we come out. This is what we do when we come out.
Terence Crawford knocked down Errol Spence for the first time in his 29 professional fights during the second round of Saturday's welterweight title unification bout. Crawford said, "I only dreamed of being a world champion." He has now won 11 straight fights by knockout, including all 8 opponents since moving up to 147 pounds. He added, "I am an overachiever. Nobody believed in me when I was coming up, but I made everyone a believer. I want to thank Spence and his team because without him none of this would have been possible." Spence was the more active fighter in the first round, using his jab to measure distance and targeting Crawford's body. As the naturally bigger man, he used solid footwork and a dedicated attack to the body to push Crawford back toward the ropes. But when he lunged too far with a right hand to the body that completely missed Crawford, made him pay with a perfectly placed counterpunch that sent him to the floor for the first time in 29 pro fights.
Come out there and just be like, okay, well, even the skills to say, all right, let me see how you gonna take a punch to the chin. Let me see how you gonna take a punch to the body. Let me see how you gonna react when you can't bully somebody around.
Good, I just hit the ball.
Okay, so my mind was, you know what I mean, you know, it was racing a little bit. And I was like, man, how should I come out? And it was like, man, just come out boxing. Oh, listen, just like you talking, just like you doing all that talking, bro, it can turn deadly real quick, but on both sides. So why not support, listen, why not support your fighter?
All right, everyone, stay tuned for the latest in boxing news, highlights, events, and stories. Subscribe to and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Be sure to watch our other videos too. Until next time, take care and stay safe.